This just in, police are still looking for a suspect who broke into a local resident's house and left shit stains on the chair and carpet while also leaving a similarly soiled pair of shorts. In other news, the pandemic now named Walrus Face is
I get it. I fear shit. What's the problem with that? Hello there, Frogman, better known as Ryan, and I'm hiding from the law now. Apparently being transported into a random person's house is not a good excuse for fear shitting on every chair and carpeted surface. So I need to wait this out until public interest dies off, which given the internet climate should take 15 minutes tops. So until people forget all about it, I need to make money in order to find a new place and stuff. Lucky for me, I have a very lucrative option to help me gain money while also contributing nothing to society. And double lucky for me, I also have this great game that will simulate and help me practice this. Because why actually put effort into something tangible when I can simulate it and feed off the accomplishment of something completely fabricated? It's just like real social media. Streamer Life Simulator is a game made by Cheesecake Dev, released in the year 2020. This game came out at a rather interesting time. It was back when COVID was in full swing, people couldn't leave their homes, and I swear the running price for gold and toilet paper were the same. To reflect these weird and trying times, this game takes place in a post-dystopian world that's gone to shit. So our solution is to sit at home and stream. What? Character creator. To start out, we need to pick the settings of our iconic streamer, and there are loads of options to choose from. From head shape, arm length, and leg separation, there's no shortage of things you can do to make your own monstrosity. I made Og. Upon reflection, I should have stayed with this, but I tried to come up with something better, but I couldn't stomach using this for much longer. I don't know why this is the case, but the camera is off its meds and it will not sit still. It's absolutely miserable to try and see what you are changing while the camera sways back and forth, doing everything it can to make you nauseous. Not that this matters too much anyway, the game is in first person, so you won't be seeing your character that much anyway. We wake up in a bed next to Mosey's dog, and after looking around a bit, well, it's another Tuesday, I guess. We talked to Mosey, and through some dialogue options, we learned that he owes us a computer, which he has prepared at the front door. Armed with some very basic hardware, we toss them into our beat-up car and hightail it to our house. As we're going to realize from this trip, this is a rather large world we're brought into. And as the trailer of this game showcases, there are other things to do in this world than stream. We're shown a wide world where we have many shops, back alley deals, and even pets to accompany us in this streaming journey. There's also a strip club. You mean I can see boobies?
Well, we gotta get home and get this thing rolling! The starting house is appropriately a single step up from the living space of Oscar the Grouch. And for those of you with no hair on your crotch, it means that this place is an absolute dump. No problem though, since we're given the bare minimum we need to run the place, like a chair and desk to run the computer, and a probably bug-ridden bed to sleep in. From there, you're instructed to build your computer and register for the Blender website. A little known fact, PCs refuse to be powered up when they don't have a chair in front of them. This will be important later. Once you have the computer assembled and turned on, you can get access to the internet and a wide range of things to do. It's very easy to get overwhelmed by the sheer amount of things put in front of you, but let's pretend we're our country's leaders and not worry about the majority. All you need to do to start is go to the apps and download every app you see. Sure, the internet speed is what experts call really bad, but it'll be worth the wait because these apps take zero disk space and you will need to use them all at least a little bit going forward. Ops is the analog to OBS, allowing you to stream and record yourself. Logging into the Blender website allows you to get your stream key and connect to Ops. It's a rather simple parallel, but I really appreciate the extra step in requiring a stream key to make things work. Granted, I think it could have been bundled with the stream pad and not require two things needing a stream key, but you know, whatever. If you're so inclined, you can immediately start streaming right after you get a microphone first. This introduces you to the corporate hell that is online purchases, as every single thing you can get must be bought online. Everything you need will be bought on the computer. So naturally, we'll just purchase a microphone to get our streaming career off the ground, and we'll also get a toilet and bathroom because you've got stats and hygiene and toilet to take care of. I'm unsure of the lasting effects of not doing your toilet, but not doing hygiene will prevent you from entering certain shops and lower your appeal on stream, which frankly is a rather small penalty for living like a college student. Get the mic and place it on the desk to allow yourself the ability to stream. Is this really it? Streaming is stupid easy, as you only need to hit the button and do nothing. Maybe there could have been some interesting interactivity, only gaining subs and followers by making you speak into a microphone, but since there is none, all I can assume is that all these people are seeing is... However, I think somebody told the developer the same thing during development, because every now and then a graphic shows up with a specific prompt, and you are given a choice of which action to take. They can range from deciding whether to talk to yourself like a sane person, or engage in a specific topic on stream. Choosing one over the answer either raises or lowers certain stats you see at the top. I've been told somewhere that having a balanced stream is key to growing and keeping a positive audience, but from what I can tell, these stats had about as much impact as Vernon Supreme had on politics. There's no real point in thinking about how to respond or even remaining consistent, because there's no visible consequence or reward to the responses. Which brings me on to how the streaming in general just kinda sorta maybe probably sucks. Sure, you can keep yourself entertained by talking to yourself or playing the games provided, I'll get to that later, but there's absolutely no evolution to the stream other than gaining better equipment and internet speeds. It doesn't matter at all what you do because there's absolutely no interactivity between you and your audience. Maybe the game could have had some microphone functionality to allow some sort of interactivity, something like having voice input equals better followers, but as it stands, the metagame is just stream and become a statue, hitting the add button at every chance. There are other categories to explore than just chatting, but the problem is that every category has a minor case of sucking out loud. The creative category gives you a whiteboard and marker to draw with. It's hard to control and I don't like the program. ASMR gives you a soundboard of triggers to play, which is worth 10 seconds of time at the best, and gaming is probably the most disappointing part of this. Sure, there's a plethora of interesting looking games, but each one of them are shallow husks of the quote source material. Dark Souls is just the world's hardest game with slipperier controls and an inability to stop. Decent if there wasn't a level that killed me randomly for no reason. Fuck you, Dark Souls. Rocket League is awful to control and is even more awful to do the objective with. Human Fall Flat is too short and can be soft locked very easily. Last of Us is just not fun. Zifa has an AI that's far too strong and doesn't let you play. Cyberpunk is halfway okay, but impossible to damage others while not getting shit stomped yourself. And The Witcher is the same problem, but it has this fun feature of demanding money for every revive. Not like it matters anyway, because Counter-Strike is where it's at, baby! Or Counter-Strika. Sounds like a disease. Here you play against bots and shoot the enemy team with varied quality of play depending on the hardware you own. It's neat for about a second until you realize the AI is very basic. They all reliably go to the same spot and you cannot headshot anything, believe me, I've tried, and the enemy have hit scan upon seeing you. So honestly, it's pretty faithful. It's fine in bite-sized chunks, but trying to progress in streaming and getting better stuff is such a painful slog. Keep in mind, you need to keep track of your food while streaming, otherwise your health and energy drop and you'll be charged with $1,000 for hospital fees. But navigating the food and by extension the menus is a true pain. Picking anything up and putting it in your bag takes a second to swap from the bag to the hand and vice versa. It is agonizing to have to put each individual item in your hand in order to do anything with them. And when you've got mountains of food to keep your energy up during a stream, picking them up is sure to result in loads of wasted time waiting for the handling to go through. Sure, there is a perk to make things go faster, but the fact that it is still a thing at all is quite frankly a poor misstep in terms of usability. And speaking of usability, there's going to be many moments where the game's functions set out to completely bone you sideways. Like I mentioned before, building your PC requires a desk computer with full components, keyboard, mouse, monitor, and chair, and upsetting any of these components in any way will disconnect your computer and force you to restart the PC. Usually a small problem until you consider that pressing E will pick up your items and pressing F is the only way to use your computer. And I don't care who you are, you will mess this up at least once.
Oh my goodness, what a long day. Alright, I'll just turn on the computer and unwind.
Every time this happens, it's agonizing because I know how long it will take to restart. And every time I have to restart all the stuff I had open before. And that's not even getting into the apparent earthquakes that happen randomly and fuck up my whole day. I don't understand why this happens, but what I do understand is that it happens so frequently and ruined so many things that it really should have been tested out and fixed. It seems like a small thing in the grand scope, but the small things of this experience really wore me down and bothered the hell out of me. Little things like keys sharing functions, but not regarding context in any fashion. What I mean is, if you have food in your hand, you need to press F to eat it. But there are other functions that use F to have them used, say like your computer, toilet, or bath. But if you have some ramen in your hand while you try to use your shower, then by golly, you're having that ramen whether you like it or not. I could sit all day and tell you about all the things that annoyed me, like not being able to set up 2 PCs, clothes not appearing on the character, or pet food being sold in one physical store, making owning a pet a challenge with no payoff. But there's nothing to be gained from it. This game has been forgotten for a long time by its developer, and quite frankly, I don't see the point in caring about something more than the developer did. I mean, for God's sakes, file size of games is something you have to consider until you download the games once, and then they're with you forever, regardless if you have those hard drives or not. And most of everything on the internet is meant to scam you out of your money, inhibiting your progress. There's a horse racing sim that seems to always make you lose. Don't play it. There's a bank app that allows you to take out loans. Don't use it. And there's also Zornhub that takes your money for temporary access to hot photos of drawings. Don't jerk it.
Overall, Streamer Life Simulator is an interesting experience, but falls flat upon any further exploration. There are many different avenues of things to explore, but each one of them is so shallow and unfun to do repeatedly. I equate it to a large room filled with multiple doorways. Sure, there are many options for you, but exploring any of them, you realize they're all about a foot deep, and they're all painted black, so you smash your face into the wall when trying to explore it. There is something appealing to a number goes up type of game following a streamer, but trying to fight the tedium and the poorly thought out world makes things a lot harder than it needs to be. And if things had just a little bit more thought put into it, along with a little bit more functionality with everything, then maybe I wouldn't be leaving with such a sour taste in my mouth. But at least it's done. I've experienced everything this game has, and there's nothing left for me to see. Right, there's the strip club that I haven't seen. Maybe that's where all the effort went to. Maybe this will be the missing piece that I have been waiting for this game. There's nothing to do and you can't interact with anybody in here. While I am disappointed, it does mirror my own strip club experience. So do you guys have an improv night?